I'm not successful yet. I don't have millions of dollars. I don't have cars, and I don't have a very successful business. I'm running off of pure passion. But I wanted to come on here and talk about something that I think is very important, and it's called autosuggestion. Basically, what this is that the subconscious mind feeds you ideas and basically shapes your whole personality based off of how you think. So, before I really dive deeper into the definition of what autosuggestion is, I would like to give an example. Let's say a criminal, right? When a criminal is born, he doesn't think he's a criminal, and nobody thinks he's a criminal. But as he goes on, he will soon commit his first crime. And when he commits that crime, he's going to feel bad. He's going to feel bad about it. You know, maybe you screwed someone over, you scammed someone, you did anything, you robbed someone. And after a while, when you do it the third time and the fifth time and the 10th time, you start to feel less and less bad about it. Until maybe he goes to jail, maybe he does all of these things. And then now, in that criminal's head, he knows he's a criminal. He thinks he's a criminal. So when he goes back out into the real world, he's going to start thinking about ways where he can make a living for himself, being that of a criminal. So he's probably going to tell himself, oh, the system's against me. I need to go out here and rob people and take their money because my life is unfair. And he's going to think about robbing a bank, robbing a car, breaking into a house, anything. He's going to start to come up with those ideas, and sooner or later, that mentality is going to make up who he is. And jumping back into autosuggestion, your subconscious mind makes up who you are. It makes you like the things that you like. It makes you do the things that you do. And most importantly, it is your life force. And the subconscious mind is not the same as the one that we use day to day. The way that the subconscious mind works is by picking up the thoughts and emotions that you think of. Remember that your subconscious mind can't touch the things that you're touching, it can't smell the things that you're smelling, or even see what you're seeing. All it can process and take in is what you are thinking and what you feel. So, autosuggestion can work in very positive ways, the same way that it can work in many negative ways. So, the way that you tell yourself to develop a sense of autosuggestion is not based off of what most people here on any platform would say that it is. Yeah, it is a good habit to wake up every single morning and maybe go to the mirror or before you go to sleep and just repeat to yourself what your goals is. I want to make $100,000 by the time I'm 26. Say it 100 times. Say it 1,000,000 times. But the reality is that if you don't actually think about it with emotion and you don't apply your emotions to it, and you can really close your eyes and imagine what it is that you want and the dreams that you have and how you're going to accomplish those things. So the whole point of autosuggestion is the fact that when you say something, you also want to feel it, because those are the only two things that the subconscious mind can understand. Let's say you're in the market to shop for a brand new Corvette, or you want a red interior, right? Your subconscious mind, over time, as you've grown up, has, for some reason, developed a favoring towards red interiors. And now, if you start driving on the road, you've probably never seen Corvettes before. But now that you're looking for one, I bet you start seeing them everywhere. And the same thing goes for a successful mindset. Someone who believes in themselves and truly thinks that they have a gift in what they are doing, they will always be more successful than the person that was born even naturally smarter than they are as a person. But I also think that it does take work. And the person that puts in the work is the one that's going to win, because he thinks that he's going to win. You have to constantly make yourself better. People always say, opportunity comes knocking on your door. Sure, it does. I do believe that. But it can't knock on your door if you don't have a house. So a lot of people tell themselves, I don't know what I want to do in the future. What do I even do to start making myself better and really get to those goals so that those opportunities can come to me? And I don't think it's fair for you to answer that question right now. I think that as we grow up, you start to develop certain thoughts and certain habits and things like that. And over time, they start to build up. But it doesn't mean that they can't be broken. If right now I asked you if you would like you from 5 years ago to make a decision for something that you're doing now, you would probably say no. And even if you do say yes for some reason, it's not going to be the same. You'd probably still want to take the decision by yourself, wouldn't you? So it doesn't really make sense to me to go out and really shoot for a goal that's definite. I'm not saying don't have goals. Have goals. You should know what you want to do. But don't force it on yourself, because that's only going to give you tunnel vision. And what that means is that when opportunity comes knocking on your door, you're going to slam it in its face because it's not what you want. But maybe it is if you weren't so close-minded towards it. So you don't necessarily have to know what you're going to do in the future. I think as long as you have a passion for something and you truly dedicate each day to making yourself better, then eventually when opportunity comes to knock on your door, you bet you're going to be home and you're going to have a house. Because doing these daily routines of gaining more knowledge, going to the gym, get your mental health right, all of these things, they build a foundation. And that foundation can be used in this metaphor as the house. So someone who was even born with maybe the way that I feel, me personally, I think I can be successful, and I think I will be successful. That's why I said I'm not a millionaire yet, and I'm not successful yet, because I do believe that it'll happen, but I also know that I have to put myself in a position to receive that. And a lot of the times people in business will end up as a failure necessarily because you gave up on your business. And they'll come around and they'll start telling people, get a degree, don't do business, don't do all of these things, it's too risky. But the reality is they quit. And the fault is nowhere to blame except for you. I'm sure you've picked up thousands of tasks throughout your entire lifetime. If you pick one of those things when you started to do them, and you really took the time and you would have never quit and you're still doing it to this day, I'm pretty sure you'd be better than like 98% of people who are trying it. It goes for the gym, it goes for sports, it goes for everything. So what a lot of people do is miss out on that opportunity because they quit. And fate kind of has a funny sense of humor in the fact that it'll test you the hardest right before opportunity comes and knocks on your door. Bills will get hard. The house has problems or something like that, which would be you. And opportunity will still knock on your door. The only thing is some people are not willing to build the foundation. And I kind of just wanted to share another story that I recently read in a book about a man who decided in the 1940s during the gold rush in California when they discovered that there was gold there. He packed all of his stuff, took out loans from people around his city, and he headed out to the west. Now he starts digging for gold and he eventually finds gold. But as you know, gold comes in veins. So throughout the terrain, it keeps on forming and forming and forming. And so basically, he goes out there and finally, he strikes gold. Okay, cool, that's awesome. You took a risk and you got that opportunity. Now let's do something about it. So he went and he paid off all of his loans. He sent money back home because he thought that he was going to be rich for the rest of his life. Now, what he soon found out is that he kept on digging and suddenly there was no more gold. He dug hundreds of feet to the left, hundreds of feet to the right, and in every possible direction to find any source of gold that he could. Finally, he decides to pack up his bags and head home. Take the loss, just go home. And he hires a garbage man to come and pick up all the stuff that he had stationed. So the garbage man tells himself, well, I might as well get an expert opinion, and he hires a geologist to come look at the terrain. The geologist gets there, he looks at the site after doing some observation. He tells the guy that if he digs 3 feet down from this specific hole, he will strike gold again, and it will be an even bigger vein. Now, as you can guess, he kept on digging, and 3 feet down, the vein continued. And for the rest of his life, he was a successful and rich man. So what I'm trying to say is, don't quit. Because the only people that fail are the ones that quit. And it is nobody else's fault except for yours. Because sure, there are people that have been posting on YouTube for 10, 15 years and they've never gotten the satisfaction that they wanted. They're still not a big channel. And this is because if you go to their profiles and you scroll down and you go to those videos from 10, 15 years ago, I can almost guarantee you that they are probably talking about the same things they're talking about now. Maybe the quality's a little better just because they've been doing it for a while and they thought that that's what the problem was, but it really wasn't. You always have to build a foundation. You have to learn. You have to go out there and strive for more. Say, this is not the life that I want, and life will pay me what I ask of it. Think of life as an employer. Your boss at work, right? You set the task. You set the task and you set the price that you want to be compensated for that task. Now, a lot of people make the mistake of shooting too low for themselves. And because of this, life will willingly pay them that price. Very, very willingly. And it'll pay no matter the price. Because the subconscious mind, it doesn't understand the difference between a positive and a negative thought. All it does is get fed, and it feeds you back. Your ideas are a direct message from your subconscious. It's the only way to communicate with them. So you need to train your subconscious mind so that it can start giving you those ideas and you can start seeing the things that you want to see. Because that's why we say the rich get richer. Because they have their eyes peeled, quite literally. And poor people, if you stand there and you tell yourself that this life was meant for you and this rich person did this and they probably screwed someone over, they're probably a drug dealer, they're probably all of these things, you don't realize you're locking yourself up for mental jail. Autosuggestion makes it so that if you can repeat something to yourself enough times with true emotion and belief behind it, then your brain will eventually start to accept it. Your subconscious mind will see that those are the thoughts that are important and those are the necessary thoughts to live. So it will start feeding you those ideas. Don't be lazy. When you get an idea, it was for a reason. It's for a special purpose. It came from what you built, even if it wasn't you that influenced it. Appreciate it. Really appreciate it and take action. Most businessmen don't get their income from one source. They just don't. They have multiple companies because that's just the way that they think. When you walk into a coffee shop, don't just buy a coffee and leave. Think to yourself, why am I here? What am I doing here? Why am I purchasing this coffee? Okay, maybe it tastes better than other coffees. Maybe the customer service is great. And you start to think to yourself also, what is holding them back? So maybe the person that's working at the front counter doesn't have the best customer service. So what I'm saying is be perspicacious. Pay attention to the things that you see around you, and you'll only be rewarded with better ideas. A positive mindset attracts positive thoughts and attracts a positive life of success. There's also a topic of infinite intelligence that I wanted to dive into. The video is getting a little longer, so it'll probably be for another video. But for anyone that wants help applying this to their own life, sit at night and genuinely close your eyes and imagine yourself living the life that you want to do. What habits does that person have? The successful you in the future, what habits do they have? What flaws do they still have? Think about everything that made them who they are and what you want to do and envision yourself in that position, right? Now, you're going to write to yourself a written statement. You're going to write how much money you want to make, by how much time you want to do it, and how you're going to do it. So the 3 principles is, for one, say it to yourself. Say it constantly. Always be reminding yourself that you can be successful until you truly believe it and you memorize that script. Second, put emotion behind it. There's no such thing as just reading blank words aloud and it's going to magically do something. Really think about it. Think about what it is that you want and why you want it. And then third is to have faith. To have faith in it. To really believe in it and do this consistently and spend your time doing things that you think will make your life overall better. And I guarantee you that if you ask life for the price that you want, it'll gladly pay it. It just depends what you ask for. But that's basically it. That's everything that I wanted to say. If you made it this far, thank you. And I have a couple of other topics that I want to talk about. So if you'd like to join in, feel free to stop by whenever I post again. Thank you.